The final kitchen setup is going to take a while here, because I have to position the sink and the countertop in relation to the shower and plumb all that into place. But I do want something that's going to function for me in the meantime. So what I did was, I took the pallet that the stove came on, and I made some modifications to it to turn it into a simple countertop with some shelving. It'll do for now. For the sink, I decided to purchase a small black plastic utility sink. I think that's a pretty good fit out here because it's inexpensive, easy to install, and I can wash a variety of things in it from my hands to an old dirty pair of boots. I'm gonna set up the sink now, and it's gonna be a simple setup that is just gravity fed. So there'll be a jug of water on top, it'll drain water into the sink, and then I'll have a bucket under the sink to catch that water. And then I'll just dump the bucket once a day. Long term, of course, I will have that set up into my drainage system, but for now it'll do. Yesterday, my intention was to start designing and building the shower that's going to be in the back section of my home. But something happened that happens quite a bit out here, which is that I thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, and I ended up feeling overwhelmed and kind of discouraged because it was so complicated. So when that's happened before, what I've done is I just pick a simpler goal, something that I know I can get done, I feel a little more confident in, and getting it done, I'll feel an endorphin hit and get a little momentum back so that I can get back to that other project that's feeling more complicated and daunting. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to build my version of the famous Lovable Lou composting toilet. The main difference between the original and the one I'm building is that mine's going to be waterproof so that I can set it in the shower and it can serve as kind of a shelf or a place to sit. It's always been curious and amusing to me how people could have such wildly different experiences of the most mundane activities. How one person could enjoy washing dishes but absolutely hate vacuuming the floor, and another person could have completely the opposite experience. And I've certainly noticed that oddity living in me too. So I've been out here on the land for 5 or 6 months now, and I've been showering outside and using my composting toilet outside. And I couldn't have a more different experience of thinking about doing those things as the weather gets colder. I really enjoy these cold showers that I've been taking, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if I could make it all winter showering outdoors. On the contrary, the idea of pooping in a bucket in the middle of the night in 2-degree weather in the winter in Maine just sounds totally awful, and I really don't want to be doing that regularly. I have huge resistance to it, which is why I'm building this indoor composting toilet, basically. That's the core motivation. I did the original design for this indoor composting toilet using an old carpenter's pencil on a scrap piece of plywood I had lying around. Probably took me 30 to 45 minutes to figure out all the measurements and how it fit together. The other main piece of the composting system that I have is the compost bin, and I didn't do any formal design on that. I just thought about it for a few minutes and then spent a few hours screwing the thing together. The only other real significant piece in this system are the 5-gallon plastic buckets, which I pick up for a couple bucks each at a local restaurant. And what I find so satisfying about this is that I've been able to take complete control over something that I consider to be a vital aspect of my survival. I mean, unless I'm gonna wander around the woods pooping in random places, I obviously have to figure out some kind of waste management system. In a modern home, that is obviously the toilet. But it's a bit of a black box to me. I flush the toilet, and magically it's whisked away, and my problem is solved. With this system, I'm intimately involved with every step, from it going into the bucket, to it going from the bucket to the compost bin, the composting process, and eventually it becoming usable compost on, say, a garden that I would plant. And I just feel a tremendous sense of confidence and competence that I've been able to take such command of something so vital. I've had this experience before of getting a confidence boost when I've mastered something new. Karate was a good example. I just felt a lot more capable of being able to defend myself if I needed to. But this feels qualitatively different. It really is a greater sense of confidence about just being able to survive. The composting toilet project is done, and it came out great. I added a handle and some bracing chains to the lid just to stabilize it and make it work a little easier. The lid I really like. I hadn't seen a lid like this in any of the designs I checked out, and I was really concerned about it smelling a little too much in my small space. Composting toilet doesn't smell bad, but I put sawdust on top and it would smell like sawdust in here. So I made this lid extra tight, and when I close it, I can't smell a thing. On the side here I have my buckets. I've got sawdust in one, and the other one's just my other implements like toilet paper and hand sanitizer. I'm really happy with how this thing turned out. I will eventually need to tear it down and waterproof it because it's going to go in the shower, but for now, I'm calling it done.